The use of illegal drugs is a problem that should be solved by requiring drug testing for all people in order to receive any type of government funding. Have you ever been drug tested to hold a job? Workplace drug testing started with President Ronald Reagan required it in 1986, and it peaked in the 1990s. DePillis. Studies over the years have shown that increased drug testing has been accompanied by a decrease in illicit drug use. DePillis. Now that I got your attention, let's discuss why drug testing is needed. Imagine that you couldn't hold your job without a consented drug test. However, you could apply for government unemployment and not drug test. It is important to understand that drug testing everyone is a need to make sure that the money being dispersed is going to the correct purpose. Another possible principle is that the government provides money for specific purposes to ensure that the poor have sufficient funds to buy necessities such as food and shelter. We want to ensure that it is used for that purpose. Shudarum. The system needs to be equal. This goes for everyone, not just people receiving government aid. Drug abuse needs to be addressed, and the homeless population increases as people continue to experiment with drugs. The federal rules permit drug testing as part of temporary assistance for needy families block grant. In recent years, nearly all states have proposed some form of drug testing or screening for applicants. Benzel. It costs American society annually billions of dollars because of the loss in workplace efficiency and law breaking and the healthcare expenses. Let me continue our discussion on drug testing and how it could satisfy the employers. To hold a job and receive a paycheck, drug testing should be done. In order to receive one of these, a paycheck needs to be done. Simply put, you cannot have workers under the influence working. They are a liability to any company. It is not, if not fully aware of what they are doing while working. An idea would be to support employers prohibiting drug use at work. Employees in safety-sensitive situations cannot be impaired at work by any substance, whether it be illicit, legally prescribed, or available for over-the-counter. Phillips. This goes for any drug. We are talking about a large spectrum of drugs here. These are prescription, yet they cannot be used while working in any form. Okay, so we're talking about so many different types of drugs here. These I can take legally, but cannot take while working. It is a team effort to bring such a large policy about, and people must all stand behind one another when these ideas of a drug-free workplace are brought to the surface. Policies are there to protect employees and employers, and it's important to understand that the companies are trying to protect everyone from danger by implementing a drug-free workplace. Employers should have clear policies and procedures for everyone to follow regarding the criteria for potential impairment while working for safety reasons. Phillips. Mental health and substance abuse problems combined are the leading cause of years lost to disability associated global burden of disease that continues to grow. Wogan and Restrepo. Let's continue to the vision we have to put this into play, to put this idea into play. Drug testing to receive aid would allow for the government to make sure that the funds were used properly to those who receive it. Not all states follow a drug testing policy, but if every state could be on the same page and drug test to receive benefits, we could fully get a hold of a drug problem that continues to plague our nation with death and crime. As of March 2017, at least 20 states have proposed legislation requiring a form of drug testing or screening for public assistance recipients this year. Benzel. We can bring this to a reality, starting with one group that receives funding at a time. My hope for you is to see the problems drugs have caused, and the solution is to drug test. We should drug test all people who receive government funding. If you pass, you have the right to receive funding. And if you fail, you lose your opportunity for government funding, but you'll be given the opportunity to receive help that could ease the addiction process. H.R. 3678, Drug Testing for Welfare Recipients Act, was introduced to the House on 6/1/21. This must pass through the House, the Senate, and the President to become a law. This law could help solve the war on drugs that we have been fighting for years, with one group at a time. Thank you.